In combat sports, there are fighters who win. There are fighters who dominate. And then there are fighters who transcend the sport itself. Fighters whose legacy is built not just on victories, but on something deeper. Something unbreakable. Something that feels destined from birth.
And I want to see those too. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis as well. Who's got the style to handle this guy?
Khabib Nurmagomedov, a name that means perfection. 29 fights, 29 victories, 0 losses. A record that seems impossible in the modern era of mixed martial arts.
16-0 is the mixed martial arts record, and he's just 23 years old.
UFC record, 21 takedowns.
Michael should tap or he's going to break his arm. He's going to break his arm.
But Khabib's story is not about luck. It is not about ease. It is about surviving, about enduring, about paying a price most fighters cannot imagine.
So how old are you here, Khabib?
9.
You're 9, and he's literally biting you, dude.
You know what father told me here?
What did he tell you?
I tell him, he tried to bite me. He say, bite him back.
This is not a story about a fighter who never struggled. This is a story about a man who was raised for one purpose: to be unbeaten.
If I see someone like almost my size, and I look at him like my enemy, you know, because I knew my father gonna make me wrestling with him. It was like all my life.
In the mountains of Dagestan, far from the bright lights and big stages, a father had a vision. And that vision became a son. That son became a fighter. And that fighter became a legend.
Not many people believe us. When I see how father believe me, how really want this is giving me like crazy energy.
But the path was brutal. The cost was high. And there were moments when everything almost collapsed. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the man who made dominance look effortless. But behind the perfect record was suffering. Behind the calm was chaos. Behind the legend was a human being who bled, broke, and nearly quit. This is that story. The mountains. Dagestan, a republic in the North Caucasus region of Russia. Mountainous, rugged, isolated. A place where life is hard and people are harder. Where poverty is common and opportunities are rare. Where tradition matters more than modernity. Where wrestling is not a sport, it is survival. This is where Khabib Nurmagomedov was born. September 20th, 1988. His father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, was a decorated athlete, a wrestler, a judoka, a military veteran. But more than anything, Abdulmanap was a coach with a vision. He believed champions were not born. They were forged through pain, through discipline, through relentless pressure. Abdulmanap did not wait for Khabib to choose fighting. He started training him before Khabib could understand what training meant. When Khabib was 2 years old, Abdulmanap began teaching him movements, wrestling positions, how to grip, how to balance. To a toddler, it was play. To Abdulmanap, it was the foundation of something unbreakable. The famous story. When Khabib was 8 or 9, Abdulmanap brought home a bear cub, not as a pet, as a lesson. He put Khabib in the yard with the bear, told him to wrestle it. A small boy grappling with a wild animal. Khabib shows no fear in the video, but years later, he would admit the truth. He was terrified, but his father taught him to control that fear, to use it, to never let it control him. But the bear was just one piece. Abdulmanap trained Khabib every single day, in the mountains, running up hills with weighted vests in freezing cold, doing push-ups in the snow until his hands went numb, grappling on rocks that cut his skin. The training was not just brutal, it was designed to break him, to find his limits, and then push past them. Most children would have quit, most parents would have stopped, but Abdulmanap believed suffering built character. That pain created champions.
Здесь 1750 метров. Сосновый лес. Вы сами видите, как здесь тяжело дышать. Как только спускаемся, нам становится легче. Задача ведь такая. Тяжело в учении, легко в бою. Я думаю, эти сборы дадут ребятам последняя подготовка. Ислама Махачева здесь. Хабиб еще, наверное, успеет. В школе Базарганова будет сбор. Отсюда спустимся, Гаджи Махачева будем работать, нарабатывать. Ребята уже уедут. Первые, кто в СОФ, кто UFC, выступит.
He pushed Khabib harder than any father in Dagestan pushed their son. And there were times young Khabib wanted to quit. Times he cried. Times he begged for a normal childhood. But Abdulmanap would not allow it. This was not cruelty. This was preparation for a world that would try to break him. By his late teens, Khabib was dominating national competitions, but he was also isolated. While other kids his age were enjoying life, Khabib was training, always training. He had no social life, no girlfriend, no parties, just wrestling mats and mountain runs and his father's voice telling him he could be great if he was willing to sacrifice everything. Abdulmanap had bigger plans. Russia was too small. If Khabib was going to be truly great, he needed to test himself against the best in the world. He needed the UFC, but getting there would require sacrifices Khabib did not yet understand. Rise. Khabib makes his professional MMA debut at 19. He wins, then wins again, and again. 12-0 in Russia, all finishes, all dominant. But nobody outside Russia notices. The UFC calls in 2011, not because they know who he is, but because they need Russian fighters. January 2012, UFC debut. Khabib defeats Kamal Shaloris. The performance is good, not spectacular.
Big strike from Nurmagomedov. Belarus in a world of trouble right now. We'll see if the Russian can finish.
Caught him on the way in, and look at this brutal ground and pound. Not allowing him to get up, and from here, this is where Nurmagomedov will make you pay.
Belarus in survival mode here. We'll see how much the Russian has left as he tries to pursue the finish. A couple more accurate strikes could do it.
This is not where Belarus wants to be. He needs to get back to his feet, recompose himself. He has an underhook where he can possibly get a single leg and escape from here. Nurmagomedov needs to get that underhook and try to keep him on his back. Switches to the back position. Nice trans.
Just efficient, dominant. A preview of what is coming.
Nurmagomedov just has not stopped throwing punches inside mount.
Now in the mount, and this could be bad news for Belarus. And Nurmagomedov trying to get that rear naked choke. He's kind of in an awkward position, but looks like he's finishing it. That's it.
So the UFC and US debut for Khabib Nurmagomedov goes.
Fight after fight, Khabib does the same thing. Takes opponents down, smothers them, makes them quit. Gleison Tibau, Rafael dos Anjos, Pat Healy, Abel Trujillo. Elite fighters who have beaten top competition. None can stop Khabib. By April 2014, Khabib is 21-0. He destroys Rafael dos Anjos. 30-26 on the scorecards. Lopsided, dominant.
He's in the closed guard. Still he's able. Tips, he's trying to go for an arm.
Just the second time we featured two men.
And I want to see those two. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Gilbert Melendez, Anthony Pettis as well. Who's got the style to handle this guy?
Complete. He is next in line for a title shot. And then everything stops. A knee injury. Not a small one, a serious one. Surgery, recovery, months of rehabilitation. But Khabib is young, strong. He will heal. He will return. That is what everyone thinks. That is what Khabib thinks. The abyss. The injury does not heal properly. Khabib tries to rush back, re-injures himself. Another surgery. More months lost. Then another injury. A different part of his body breaking down from years of brutal training. From 2014 to 2016, Khabib fights once. One fight in 2 years. while the lightweight division moves on without him. He watches from Dagestan, watches Rafael dos Anjos, the man he destroyed, become champion, watches other fighters get title shots he deserved, watches his peers become stars while he sits at home injured. The frustration is unbearable. For a man who has trained every day since he was 2 years old, forced inactivity is torture. But worse than the frustration is the doubt. For the first time in his life, Khabib questions everything. What if the injuries never fully heal? What if his body cannot handle the weight cuts anymore? What if he wasted his entire childhood, sacrificed everything, for a career that ends before it truly begins?
If I see someone like almost my size, and I look at him like my enemy, you know, because I knew my father gonna make me wrestling with him. It was like all my life.
He calls his father late at night, tells him he does not know if he can do this anymore. Abdulmanap does not offer sympathy. He reminds Khabib of the bear, of the mountains. Of all the mornings, Khabib wanted to quit but did not. He tells him this is just another test, another mountain to climb. But privately, even Abdulmanap worries. What if they push too hard? What if they broke something that cannot be fixed? The UFC starts to forget about him. They book other title fights. They build other stars. Khabib is a name from the past, a prospect who could not stay healthy. When he finally returns in 2016, many wonder if he will be the same fighter, if the injuries have taken too much, if the layoff has destroyed his momentum. Khabib fights Daryl Horcher, wins in the second round, then Michael Johnson dominates him, talks to him during the fight, tells him to give up. Johnson cannot answer. The old Khabib is back, or so it seems. But the injuries left scars, not just on his body, on his mind.
Severely diminished with every punch Nurmagomedov lands. And there's another one.
Michael Johnson, man, showing some guts.
Showing an amazing chin, too.
Yeah, which just got tested.
I mean, he's getting pounded on, Mike. This is really horrific.
It really is.
And look how Khabib has just got him contorted. I mean, he gets you in a position where you can barely defend yourself.
He knows now that his body is not invincible, that everything he worked for can disappear with one wrong movement, one bad injury. That knowledge will haunt him. But he pushes forward, because that is what he was trained to do. Push through pain, through doubt, through fear. The title shot is close now, finally.
Khabib looks like he may be looking for a Kimura on the left arm of Michael. He's looking for the overhook. He's tying it up. That's exactly what he's doing. He's turning the corner. He's going to get it right here. This should be it. Michael should tap, or he's going to break his arm. He's going to break his arm.
It is all over. Khabib Nurmagomedov moves to 24-0.
After all the waiting, all the suffering, everything is about to come together, or so he hopes. Conor. To understand Khabib's story, you have to understand Conor McGregor, because their rivalry defines both of them. Conor is everything Khabib is not. Flashy, loud, entertaining. He's a superstar, a pay-per-view king, and Khabib cannot stand him. Khabib watches Conor hold up the lightweight division, refusing to defend, chasing boxing matches, turning the belt into a prop. Everything Khabib was raised to respect about fighting, Conor disrespects. And there's nothing Khabib can do but wait and call him out and be ignored. April 2018, UFC 223. Khabib finally gets his title shot against Tony Ferguson, the fight everyone wants. Booked 5 times, canceled 4 times, finally happening. Khabib arrives in Brooklyn, does media, cuts weight, everything is perfect. And then Tony trips on a cable, tears his knee. The fight is off, again. Khabib is devastated, but he takes a replacement, Alia Quinta, a real estate agent, wins every round, becomes champion, but it feels hollow. The opponent was not worthy, and while Khabib is winning the title, Conor is outside attacking a bus full of fighters, throwing a dolly through the window, creating chaos, getting arrested, and somehow still stealing all the attention. But the bus attack sets up the fight. UFC 229. Khabib vs. Conor, October 2018, Las Vegas. The build-up is toxic. Conor goes too far, insults Khabib's religion, calls him a terrorist, calls his father a coward, insults his wife. Every press conference gets worse.
What does it feel like to be back? And what does this fight mean to you?
Don't let that smelly rat put that hat on your head, Joe. The smell of that fucking thing. Don't ever let him put that hat on your head. It's good to be back. UFC fans, it's good to be fucking back. The king is home.
Khabib stays calm publicly, but inside, he is burning. Conor has crossed lines that cannot be uncrossed. This is not business anymore. This is personal. Abdulmanap watches the press conferences, hears the insults. He tells Khabib to stay focused, but he also tells him something else. He tells him to hurt Conor, to make him pay. This is about honor now. October 6th, 2018. The fight begins. Khabib walks through Conor's strikes, takes him down, controls him, round after round. Khabib dominates, makes Conor carry his weight, drains him, breaks him. In the fourth round, Khabib locks in a neck crank. Conor taps. Khabib should celebrate, should enjoy the moment, but he is still angry, still thinking about the insults. He looks at Dylan Dennis, Conor's coach, the man who talked trash all week. Khabib drops his mouthpiece, climbs the cage, jumps into the crowd, attacks him. Chaos erupts. It is a brawl, a riot. Dana White cannot give Khabib his belt in the octagon. Too dangerous. Khabib leaves without his moment, without properly celebrating the biggest win of his career, because his emotions got the better of him. The one time, the only time. And it almost cost him everything. The Nevada Athletic Commission suspends him for 9 months, fines him $500,000. The media attacks him, says he ruined the sport's image. For weeks after, Khabib wonders if he threw everything away, if his father was disappointed, if he let his family down. The victory feels tainted, incomplete, but he cannot take it back. He can only move forward. The weight cut hell. After the Conor suspension, Khabib returns to face Dustin Poirier, September 2019, Abu Dhabi. But the fight almost does not happen. The weight cut nearly kills him, literally.
He sticks with it.
Wow! Nurmagomedov pops his head out. Crowd goes bananas.
And now Nurmagomedov knows how tired Dustin Poirier's arms are, and he gets right on the hand control, and this is what we saw to Curtis Blades earlier, is the hand control on the heavyweight. In the same position, the top leg position, and now his head's higher than Poirier's, so Poirier's got to get all that weight off him before he can get away. But first and foremost, he has to attack the hand control of Khabib.
You see Khabib's father, Abdulmanap, right there. Proud to be in his son's corner tonight now. A possible... Nope, Nurmagomedov bails.
It's enough to make it real ugly. It's just mean. Neck cranking you, always cross your jaw. You can't breathe. It hurts your nose. And it's not really, that's in. That's in.
Nurmagomedov under the chin. There's the tap! Khabib Nurmagomedov, 28-0!
Incredible. Absolutely incredible the way he dominates people in the grappling. Never seen anything like it.
Khabib walks around at 185 pounds between fights, sometimes more. To make 155, he has to cut 30 pounds. In 1 week. It is brutal every single time. But this time is different. This time his body refuses to cooperate. The weight will not come off. The water will not drain. His kidneys are struggling. 2 days before weigh-ins, Khabib is still 10 pounds over. He cannot eat, cannot drink, cannot sleep. His body is shutting down. He sits in a sauna for hours, sweat pouring off him, his heart racing dangerously fast. His coaches watch nervously. They have seen bad weight cuts. But this is terrifying. The night before weigh-ins, Khabib is in his hotel room, delirious, weak, cramping. He calls Abdulmanap, tells him he does not know if he can make it. For the first time, he admits he might have to pull out. Abdulmanap is silent for a long moment. Then he says what he always says. "You have come too far. You do not quit now." But even Abdulmanap sounds worried. Khabib makes weight, barely, 155 pounds. But he looks like a corpse on the scale. Sunken eyes, hollow cheeks, barely able to stand.
На спину поверните меня. Оставьте. Оставьте. Ничего не трогайте.
After weigh-ins, he is rushed back to his room, given IV fluids, electrolytes. His body rehydrates slowly, too slowly. His team wonders if he will be recovered enough to fight. Fight night. Khabib enters the octagon. The crowd chants his name. He looks calm, focused. But his team knows the truth. He is not at 100%, maybe not even 80%. His body is still recovering from the cut. If Dustin is sharp, if he catches Khabib early, this could go very wrong. The first round is competitive. Dustin lands good shots. Khabib is slower than usual. His takedowns are not as crisp. For the first time in years, Khabib looks vulnerable, but he survives. And by the third round, as Dustin tires, Khabib finds his rhythm, takes him down, takes his back, locks in a rear naked choke. Dustin taps. After the fight, Khabib is hospitalized, dehydration, kidney stress. The doctors tell him what he already knows. He cannot keep doing this. The weight cuts are destroying his body. If he keeps cutting to 155, one of these times his organs will fail. He will not make it to the fight. Or worse, he will make it, but his body will give out in the cage. Khabib lies in the hospital bed, 28-0, undefeated, but his body is broken. The price of dominance is killing him. He thinks about retirement, about moving to welterweight where the cuts would be easier, about whether any of this is worth dying for. But he has one more fight on his contract, one more defense, and his father is still healthy, still coaching, still believing. Khabib decides to endure one more time, just one more. But fate has other plans. The next cut will not be to 155 pounds. It will be something far worse. A cut that no amount of training can prepare him for. The loss. July 2020. Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov is hospitalized with COVID complications. The news devastates Khabib. His father is not just his coach. He is everything. His mentor. His hero. The reason for everything Khabib has accomplished.
One more time, here we go.
Coach, one more time.
All right. That's competitive, look at that.
Khabib flies to Russia, sits by his father's bedside. Abdulmanap is in a coma. The doctors say the situation is critical. Khabib prays, holds his father's hand, talks to him even though Abdulmanap cannot respond. He tells him about his next fight, about Justin Gaethje, about how he will make him proud, about how they will celebrate together when Abdulmanap wakes up.
Съедобная трава. Да. Я детство вспоминаю, когда я ел.
When he eat this, his memories become about when he was like child, kid.
1,5 года уехал, 4 года обратно приехал на год.
Abdulmanap's condition improves briefly. For a few days there is hope. Khabib allows himself to believe his father will survive, that everything will be okay. And then the condition worsens, rapidly. On July 3rd, 2020, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov passes away. He is 57 years old. Khabib's world collapses. Everything he ever did was for his father. Every sacrifice, every victory, every moment of suffering. All of it was to make Abdulmanap proud, to prove the vision was right, to honor the man who gave up everything to build him into a champion. And now he is gone. The funeral is attended by thousands. Khabib stands at his father's grave, numb, empty. People offer condolences. Tell him his father was proud. Tell him Abdulmanap's legacy will live forever. But none of it helps. Nothing helps. The man who shaped his entire life is gone, and Khabib does not know how to exist without him. Dana White calls, offers to postpone the Justin Gaethje fight. Tells Khabib to take as much time as he needs, but Khabib refuses. He says he will fight. His father would want him to fight. But the truth is simpler. Khabib does not know what else to do. Fighting is all he knows. And maybe, if he steps into the cage, his father will feel close again. The final test. The training camp for Justin Gaethje is the hardest of Khabib's life. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. He is training without his father for the first time ever. Every other fight, Abdulmanap was there, in the corner, building the game plan, giving instructions, believing. Now Khabib has to do it alone. He trains in Dagestan, in the same gym Abdulmanap built. But everything reminds him of what he lost. The equipment his father chose, the posters on the walls, the other fighters his father trained. Everywhere Khabib looks, he sees his father's legacy. But not his father. The grief is overwhelming. Some days Khabib cannot train. He sits alone, cries, questions everything. Why is he doing this? For whom? His father is gone. The man he was trying to make proud cannot see him anymore. What is the point? His teammates try to help. They train with him, push him, remind him of his father's words. But it's not the same. It will never be the same. One night, 3 weeks before the fight, Khabib has a dream. His father is sitting in their old home in Dagestan, healthy, smiling. He tells Khabib to finish what they started, to honor the journey, to show the world what they built together. When Khabib wakes up, he is crying, but something has shifted. He knows what he has to do. October 24, 2020, UFC 254, Abu Dhabi. Khabib enters the octagon for the first time without his father. The arena observes a moment of silence for Abdulmanap. Khabib looks up, points to the sky. This one is for you, father. Everything is for you. The fight begins. Justin comes out aggressive, throwing bombs. Leg kicks that thud into Khabib's legs, punches that snap his head back. Khabib absorbs the damage, stays patient, waits for his moment, and then he shoots, gets the takedown. Justin cannot get up. The first round is Khabib's. The second round is where it ends. Khabib hurts Justin on the feet, takes him down, moves to mount. Justin gives up his back. Khabib locks in a triangle choke. Justin taps. 29-0. Perfect, undefeated, complete. Khabib stands in the center of the octagon. He falls to his knees, he cries. Not tears of joy, tears of grief, tears of release, tears of exhaustion. He looks up, points to the sky, to his father. I did it, father. I finished what we started, I kept my promise. And then he does something no one expects. He announces his retirement. Right there.
It was my last fight. And no way I'm gonna come here without my father. It was first time when, after what happened with my father, when UFC called me about Justin, I talked with my father, my mother, 3 days. She don't wanna I go fight without father, but I promise her it's gonna be my last fight. And if I give my word, I have to follow this. It was my last fight here. I know only one thing, what I want from UFC Tuesday. You guys have to put me on #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world because I deserve this. And UFC undisputed UFC lightweight champion, 13-0, 13 in UFC, 29 in all my pro MMA career, you know. Oh, I think I deserve it. And one more thing.
In the cage, through tears, he says he promised his mother he would not fight without his father. She does not want to see him hurt anymore, does not want to worry, and Khabib will honor that promise. Because honoring promises is what his father taught him. 29-0, the perfect record. But it is not about the number anymore. It is about honoring his father, about keeping his word, about walking away at the right time. Khabib leaves the octagon as champion, undefeated, unbowed, but also broken, forever changed by the price he paid for perfection. The discipline. To understand Khabib's dominance, you have to understand the cost. The discipline was not just impressive, it was suffocating, all-consuming. It left no room for anything else. No alcohol, ever, no parties, no social life, no normal experiences, just training, always training. His diet was strict. Lean meats, vegetables, rice, no junk food, no processed sugar. Other fighters would cheat between camps. Khabib never did. The discipline was constant, unbreaking. It made him great, but it also made him lonely, isolated, different from everyone around him. The weight cuts were torture, 30 pounds in a week, his body screaming, his mind breaking. But he never missed weight, not once. The discipline demanded it, so he endured, every single time, even when his kidneys were failing, even when doctors warned him. The discipline was more important than his health. That is what it took to go 29-0. His faith gave him strength, but it also added pressure. To represent Islam properly, to be a role model, to never fail publicly. Khabib could not just be a fighter, he had to be an example. That weight never lifted. Even in victory there was responsibility. Even in retirement there is duty. The discipline made him unbeatable, but it also made him someone who could not exist outside of fighting. When his father died, Khabib lost his purpose. The discipline that built him also trapped him. That is the price of perfection. You give up everything else to achieve it. The perfect record. 29-0, a perfect record. But perfect does not mean easy. It means 29 fights where one mistake would have ruined everything. 29 weight cuts that nearly killed him. 29 training camps that broke his body. 29 moments where doubt crept in and had to be pushed away. The record looks flawless on paper, but behind every win was suffering. The injuries that almost ended his career. The weight cuts that hospitalized him. The pressure of being undefeated. Every fight, the target on his back grew larger. Every victory, the expectation grew heavier. One loss would destroy everything he built. That pressure never left. Khabib made dominance look effortless, but it was not. It was calculated survival. Every opponent was dangerous. Every fight could have gone wrong. Against Thibaut, his takedowns were stuffed repeatedly. Against Dustin, he was hurt in the first round. Against Justin, he was fighting through grief that would have broken most men. The perfect record required perfect discipline, and perfect discipline required sacrificing everything else. People try to find flaws in Khabib's record. They say he retired too early, did not fight Tony Ferguson, but they do not understand the cost. Khabib gave everything to achieve 29-0. His childhood, his health, his father. There was nothing left to give. The perfect record was not a gift. It was earned through suffering most fighters cannot imagine. Khabib Nurmagomedov, 29-0, the perfect record. But perfection has a price, and Khabib paid it in full. He gave up his childhood, spent it wrestling bears and running mountains while other kids played. He gave up his health, pushed his body past its limits in weight cuts that nearly killed him. He gave up normalcy, lived a life of discipline so strict most people would break. And ultimately, he lost his father, the man who built him, the man who believed in him, gone before they could celebrate together one final time. The mountains of Dagestan produced a champion unlike any other, not through luck, not through ease, through suffering, through sacrifice, through enduring pain that would destroy most men. Khabib was not naturally invincible. He was forged into something unbreakable, and the forging left scars. His legacy is not just about winning. It is about the cost of winning, about what it takes to be truly great, about the sacrifices that never make it into highlight reels. The injuries, the doubt, the weight cuts, the loneliness, the grief, all of it necessary, all of it brutal, all of it worth it, and all of it final. He retired at 32, at his peak, because his body was breaking, because his father was gone, because his mother begged him to stop, because knowing when to walk away is as important as knowing how to fight, because even legends are human. Even perfection has limits. Khabib Nurmagomedov, 29-0, the man who was raised to be invincible, and proved it for 29 straight fights. But behind the perfect record was a human being who bled, broke, and nearly quit, who fought through injuries that should have ended his career, who survived weight cuts that nearly killed him, who lost his father and still finished what they started. Perfect from start to finish. But not without cost. Never without cost.